So you finally want to get into trading, right? So you came across this video. I advise you to stay tuned to the final step of this whole entire guide, right? Every single step is quite important, but the last one is arguably the most important one. It's the one that will generally change your life starting now. So step number one, what is a profitable trader? So a profitable trader is somebody that consistently gains. It's not the person that has the most materialistic things. It's not the person that has the fastest car. That is not a profitable trader. That's just simply just taste. What do you like to spend your money on? You know, some people like cars, some people like clothes, some people like traveling. That's all personal preference. But what is an actual profitable trader? A profitable trader is a person that consistently gains, understands risk management, right? So in the world of trading, it's different than a job, for example. I used to work my jobs, right? I knew, okay, I'm gonna show up to this place for 8 hours. Now, depending on how much you get paid hourly, will determine how much you make per day. So let's say, for example, you get paid $20 an hour, you work 8 hours, you're making $160 that day, obviously without taxes. Who knows what that is, right? But let's say $160. So you know you're getting paid for every single hour. Well, in the world of trading, I'm sorry to break it down to you, but it's the one career that you could show up every single day and still not be guaranteed that you're going to win. You know what I mean? In the world of trading, you're risking money to make money. So you have to get used to constantly seeing that money fluctuate up and down, right? So you cannot get married to the thought of, okay, I'm going to get paid every single time that I show up to these markets, because it's not guaranteed. You know what I mean? So in the world of trading, you got to be ready to see that. And once you realize that's the reality behind it, then that's a choice that you make. That's a question you got to ask yourself. Am I comfortable with stepping into this? Because that's what's going to determine how long you stay in this, right? So most people, they try out trading. They think that you know, they're going to like it, or they just go look at the positives in it. Well, I'm here to tell you, like every other business, like every other career, there's also negatives, right? And what are those negatives? That you're going to lose. That is no way around it. It's the one career that there is no just gaining. Like I just said, compared to a job, you could show up every day and still not be guaranteed that you're going to win. But what makes a profitable trader? A person that understands that and uses that to their advantage. They develop a game plan behind that, and every single day that they show up to the markets, they understand, okay, it's not guaranteed that I'm going to win today, but if I could control my risk, tomorrow I could come in and make up for today's losses times 2, times 3, or just be even. But at least over a period of time, I will win more than I lose. That's a profitable trader. Winning more than you lose, right? So for example, let me break it down to you in simple math. There's 12 months in a year. As long as you're green for 8 to 9 months of those, it's okay if you lost the other 3, because you're still profitable majority of the time. There's 365 days in a year. As long as you're profitable, let's say for 200 of those days, 250 of those days, well, you're still a profitable trader due to the simple fact that you won more days than you lost. And that's what makes a profitable trader. Step number 2. So finding a profitable strategy. So that's a question that you need to ask yourself again. So a lot of trading is self-realization. So you have to ask yourself a lot of these questions. What type of trader are you? Or what type of trader do you want to be? So there's a few different types of trading styles within the space. So you have swing traders, intraday traders, which are day traders, and then you have scalpers. Let's rephrase that. Let's redo that. So there's a few different type of traders, right? There's swing traders, day traders, and then there's scalpers. So scalpers are more in the market for quick movements, right? So you have anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour. Day traders, you're in the market for a few hours throughout that day. That's why it's called day trading. Now, swing traders, you're holding trades for days, weeks. I know traders that even hold trades for months, which is insane to me. But that's the question that you got to ask yourself is, which type of trader do you want to be? Which one suits your style more? Personally, I'm more on the scalping side of things, right? I like to come into the markets for 30 minutes to an hour and go about my day. Why? Because something that sold me into this whole world of trading when I first got started was the freedom. And that's what I like about my trading style, is that I'm able to come into these markets for 30 minutes to an hour and get out and go about my day, because that is very important, right? A lot of people think in the beginning that you need to be glued on to the charts. Well, let me tell you, being glued on to the charts, it's not going to make any difference. It's better to spend quality time on the charts, which is a difference, right? Because you could just be looking at the market all day long and not know what you're looking at. So what really are you getting at? Nothing. Meanwhile, if you're looking at the market while analyzing certain strategies, analyzing certain patterns, or trying to develop, a certain style, That's called quality time on the markets. So there you're actually spending quality time trying to understand a concept, which then you're going to apply and perfect over time, right? So that's better than just looking at the charts all day long, which that's why I developed the scalping side of my style of trading, is because it gives me that freedom of I come in the markets for an hour max every single day, let's say an hour and a half at most, and then I'm able to go and enjoy the rest of my day, whether that's going to the gym, doing other errands, running other businesses, or whatever the case may be. Step number 3. So there's a few different trading styles out there, right? So there's people that trade with indicators such as SMAs, RSIs, all these different confluences on the market. And then there's people that simply trade market structure and price action, right? I'm personally one of those people that trades market structure and price action, right? It's the most pure way of trading, right? Why? Because you're not relying on something that changes every second. Indicators are made by other human beings and they change every second. So you could be in a bullish market or you could be in a bearish market, right? Bullish being in a long market, bearish being in a short market, right? And the indicator will change depending on every single candle. So it's not too confident, you could say, right? Meanwhile, just trading market structure and price action, you're understanding where you are in that market, right? Which that is the most pure way of doing it, right? For example, let me give you guys an image here, right? So let's say I'm in a bullish market. So in a market that's going up, right? You got higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, right? When you see the market just push into the upside and it broke through an area that already before was being rejected, now you know where you are in that market. Where are you? You're going to create a new higher high. So ultimately, you know, at some point price is going to start showing bearish momentum, but not because the market flipped bearish, but because we have to retrace to create that new higher low, since we already went up and created that higher high. Get me? So for every higher high, there's a higher low, which is called a retracement, right? So price needs to retrace that area, use that area now as a support, and continue on going to create a new higher high. So understanding simple concepts like that is key, right? Because now you understand exactly where you are in that market. And this is things that you could apply to absolutely any pair. Does not matter what you trade, okay? So there's a bunch of different things you could trade. You could trade Forex, you could trade indices, you could trade stocks. Don't matter what you trade. These are principles that you can apply to absolutely anything and it will work every single time. On top of that, right, an advice that I will give you is stick to 1 or 2 pairs at most. So a mistake a lot of beginner traders make is they try to look everywhere. They try to have 100 different pairs every single day, and that's causing you to be confused. All right, now what happens? You're not building a relationship with the pairs. You're simply just scattering through them. So now when you come along a pair, you don't really understand where you are in that market. So let me give you a scenario or an example that I always give to all my students, right? Let's say you have 5 girlfriends, right? And I ask you, what is girlfriend number 3's favorite food? You don't know, right? Because you have 5 girlfriends. Now, if you have 1 girlfriend and I ask you, what's her favorite food? You're gonna know, right? Why? Because you've built that relationship with one person. You understand that one person compared to trying to divide your attention to 5 different people. Same thing with pairs. Instead of you trying to divide your attention to 5 different pairs, stick to 1 or 2 mats, right? On top of that, right, there's different sessions that you could trade. So you have New York session, you have London session, and you have Asian session as well, right? So pick what session fits your lifestyle, right? So you have New York session, which is in the morning. Then you have Asian session, which starts from 7 p.m. all the way to 3 in the morning. At 3 in the morning, then you have London session all the way up to the morning time, which is 9:30 a.m. That's when New York session fully starts, all right? From 9:30 all the way to 5 p.m. is New York session. So pick a session that suits your lifestyle. So in my case, for example, I trade New York session, right? So New York session, I wake up nice and early. I'm able to get in the markets. I'm out by, let's say, 11 in the morning, and I got the rest of the day to go ahead and do other things that I need to get done. So pick a session that works for you and around your schedule, right? So that's my advice of you, for you to really, from the jump, avoid a lot of the mistakes that prolong your journey, right? These are things that now are simple for me to tell you, right? But it took me years. I've been trading, for those that don't know, for 5 years now, right? I'm not new to this. I didn't just start yesterday. I have 5 long years in this journey. I used to tow cars back in the day. Then one of my buddies got me into multi-level marketing because of COVID. I am originally from New Jersey / New York area. So for those that don't know where New Jersey at, it's right next to New York. So you kind of compare where I'm from from. That's where COVID pretty much started. So we were in heavy lockdown, right? So one of my buddies comes to me and tells me, hey, have you ever heard of multi-level marketing? And I'm like, no, I've never heard of it, whatever. Got me sold into it. They were using the terminology of forex trading to kind of attract people. Point is, I tried it out for a few months, did not like the whole recruiting people and that whole system of just pretty much being a motivational speaker, you could say. But nothing against my IML people out there, but it's pretty much what it is the reality. So it still intrigued me though into trading. So that is a world out there. So ever since then, I started doing my own research, started doing, my own looking around, and I've been hooked ever since, and it completely changed my life from back then. So I used to tow cars back when I was 19. I moved to Miami, Florida, which is where I currently live right now, around when I was 21 years old. So around 2 years after that. And then I've been here ever since. I am 24, currently turning 25 this year. So pretty much I am not new to this. And these are mistakes that caused me to prolong my journey so much further. You guys could really become profitable in a year. If you really lock in and avoid a lot of the mistakes a lot of people do, you could literally become profitable within a year span. That leads us to point number 4, which is risk management, right? That is absolutely going to be the number one thing that's going to determine your success within trading. It all comes down to that, right? So risk management is quite simple, right? So if you're risking $100, you either want your $100 back, 200, 300, or 400, right? So whatever you're risking, you want that multiple of 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. That's what's going to determine your success in trading. And I'm re-saying that again. Listen to what I'm saying, right? Because when we first get into trading, we're only thinking about wins. I'm going to make X amount. I'm going to make X amount. So every setup you're taking, you're only thinking about the amounts that you're going to win. Well, let me tell you, winning is not guaranteed in this game at all. So if you plan for the losses, you'll prepare yourself so much better than just thinking about winning, because it's not going to happen 100% of the time. Nobody wins 100% of the time, all right? Now, how do you determine risk management, right? In the beginning, most people don't start with a lot of money, right? So I know you guys probably heard that saying online, saying percentages. Yes, percentages is absolutely correct. In the beginning, that is the least of your worries, right? So in the beginning, you want to make money, bro. Call it as it is. We all get into trading to make money. So if you have $1,000, I'm comfortable with risking $50, right? I'll risk $50 to make $50, $100, or $150. Simple as that. I know percentage-wise, oh, but that's about 5%. Who cares, bro? In the beginning, you need to make money. Now, once you start playing with bigger capital, right? So let's say 100 grand plus, then you start worrying about percentages, because they're risking that 1-2%. Now you're risking 1,000 or 2,000 per setup to make, 2, 4, 6,000, whatever the case may be. There, it makes sense. But in the beginning, bro, most of us start with low capital. For example, myself, I started with $239 in my first account. You really think that I'm going to sit here and risk 1% of $239? I'm never going to make money. You know what I mean? So in the beginning, do not worry about percentages. Honestly, obviously, don't go ahead and risk your whole account. But definitely a math that helped me was dividing it by 20. So give yourself 20 opportunities. If you lose 20 trades in a row, you have bigger problems than just percentages here, right? So give yourself 20 opportunities. So whatever amount of money you're starting with, divide it by 20. So let's say, for example, you're starting with $200. Well, divide that by 20. That means you're going to risk $10 per setup, meaning you're going to risk that $10 to make 20 or $30 or 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 risk reward on your $200, which is quite nicely. Now, let's say you're starting with $1,000. Well, you're going to risk $50 a setup. You start with $500. Well, divide that by 20. You're going to risk $25 a setup, so on and so forth. But give yourself 20 opportunities. That's a math that helped me. I know I'm not going to lose 20 setups in a row, because if you do, again, now you have bigger, deeper issues than just percentages, right? So in the beginning, do not worry about percentages. Now, once you do have capital, percentages are a very key thing, because now that's what's going to help you start scaling up. And now you're playing with bigger money, right? So risk management will be what determines your success pretty much. If you cannot understand simple risk management, you're simply not going to win in this game. Why? Because you're going to come in with whatever account capital you have and you're going to blow it in one trade. It happens to a lot of people. And then they're sitting there not understanding, oh, but how did I lose all my money in one trade? Because simply you were not risking the proper amount. So that's what I'm saying. Divide it by 20, give yourself 20 chances, and that will tell you exactly how much you could risk per setup. Now, how do you identify how much is that, right? Well, your stop loss. So let's say, for example, you're using a 20 pip stop loss. Let's say you're trading Forex and you're using a 20 pip stop loss, right? And let's say the max you could risk per setup is $50. Well, if your stop loss is 20 pips, well, you know you could risk around $2 to $2.50 per pip, because $2 per pip, you're risking 20 pips, you're risking around $40. So that right there tells you, okay, that more or less tells you what lot size to use depending on your stop loss. But that's how you calculate more or less the math behind how much money you're risking per setup. Now, point number 5, and arguably looking back at it now, 5 years later, one of the biggest key points, right? So it's your habits. So when I first got started into trading, background story again, I come from the hood. I moved out my house quite young. They didn't have guidance on people telling me what to do, what not to do, what's right, what's wrong, so on and so forth. So I kind of was just figuring things out. So I started trading, started making decent money a few years later in it, and I pretty much went crazy, So all those wishes and things that as a kid I wanted to fulfill, I was able to do that now, right? Now, what comes with that? That comes with a lot of not being responsible, you could say, right? And being fairly honest here, right? So you make a lot of mistakes, especially when you start making good money, especially money that you've never made before. You tend to make a lot of mistakes, such as you get distracted. You completely forget about the things that got you to that point of making money, right? And looking back at it now, I wish that I had somebody telling me this that I'm telling you right now. The sooner you better your habits, the sooner you will succeed, right? So, for example, what do I mean by that? We live in a generation where it's common for people to vape. It's common for people to smoke weed. It's common for people to pretty much be alcoholics, call it as it is, right? The sooner you start realizing that all those habits are really just a distraction, right? I'm gonna break down each and every single one of them, right? Let's say vaping, for example. Imagine you're working this hard to finally make it in life, right? And you finally do. And now you get hit with, oh, you have lung cancer. You're gonna die soon. Well, now you're not even gonna be able to enjoy the fruit of your labor because of a vape. The sooner you quit that, the sooner you will succeed, right? Let's get to weed, for example. Most people say, but weed doesn't do anything bad. Weed hasn't killed nobody, right? And I could argue that point could be fairly true. Now, this is the counter argument to that. Weed, whether you want to admit it or not, does make you lazy, bro, right? So I used to smoke a lot of weed myself. I do not smoke anymore. I do not vape. I don't drink alcohol, none of that stuff, right? I strictly just gym, eat healthy, good habits, and all about my work, my craft, and my businesses, right? Nowadays. Well, weed, for example, right? I had a period in time where I was smoking so much that it was causing me to be lazy, call it as it is. So I would get high and I wouldn't want to back test. I wouldn't want to pretty much be on the charts, putting in that extra work. I'll just want to go play a video game or just go to sleep or eat bad, right? And now what comes with that? Obesity. Now you cholesterol is high because you're eating bullshit snacks out of munching, right? Now you're not getting the same results in the charts because you're not putting in that real work ethic, that real work that you were putting in before. So that's pretty much what weed causes you to do, whether you want to admit it or not. And the sooner you take accountability and the sooner you start implementing these things, the sooner, again, you will start succeeding. Now, alcohol, right? That's a very big one. Well, it's normal for you to go on a dinner date, let's say, for example, or a social event and have one drink. That's okay. We are adults and it is what it is, right? It's better than drinking juice, right? We're adults. That's pretty much like an adult juice, you could say, right? One drink. But that whole just getting fucked up, call it as it is, blacked out drunk, it is not good for you, bro. You wake up next day feeling like shit. Now, what happens when you wake up next day feeling like shit? You don't want to do anything, right? You're definitely not going to go to no gym or do anything productive. You pretty much just want to be lazy the following day. So the sooner I started realizing, bro, all these habits are only causing me to just prolong my journey of finally making it, I started cutting out those bad habits. And the moment I started doing that, my life just started pretty much going out for the better. So I am telling you this now as a friend, pretty much, please change your habits the sooner you do it, especially if you're young watching this. Bro, trust me, I know it might feel like it's the cool thing to do. Trust me, it is not the cool thing to do, right? All those successful people that you look up to on probably social media, the Andrew Tates, the whoever you look up to, right? You don't see them doing none of those things. You don't see them getting high. You don't see them out here with a stupid little vape. You don't see them blacked out drunk everywhere. No, bro. So again, I know it might feel like it's the cool thing to do because you're probably young right now, but it is not. And if you're older and you don't have none of these habits, kudos to you. Please do not fall for none of them. Keep, implementing good habits in your life. The gym, eat healthy, read a little bit, like literally, look, They have a Bible right here, right? So I had never read the Bible, and I'm like, you know what? I want to start reading it. I want to start understanding God a little bit more, and I started reading the Bible. Right, so that is my advice to you as a friend. I hope this beginner trader guide, came helpful for you guys. And for those that don't know, I pretty much did something different now, right? So I decided, instead of charging thousands of dollars like most people do for trading education, I decided to make all my trading stuff one simple, affordable monthly subscription. A simple $150 a month. That's about it. And that gives you access to absolutely everything. My Discord community, my live trading sessions every single day with my students, any webinars or future boot camps or anything that I'm doing, you're automatically enrolled with that monthly subscription. So it's an all-in access monthly subscription. So it's no longer you got to pay one price for a course or a separate price for a class or a separate price for this. No, it's all bundled in one. So if you want to join that community, make sure to check out that link down below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.